Chapter 268 Lambs and Wolves, in Muslim Societies, Part 3. Even though 1 month had passed since Sammy came back from the university, he wasn't able to meet his busy father. Most of the time the father is out of station. When his father returned from his last trip, Sammy talked to him on the phone and expressed his desire to meet him. The father told his son that he too wished to meet him and discuss with him an important matter, and that might take 1 full hour of his tight schedule. Sammy had to wait until he received an appointment from his father's secretary. Sammy is sitting in the waiting room of his father's office for the past 2 hours. For he had received a call yesterday from the secretary. The secretary had told him to be there by 8 a.m. sharp. Sammy came in time, but he is told to wait because his father is engaged with VIP businessmen. All those 2 hours Sammy spent in thinking about the wonderful time he had enjoyed with Intisar, either standing in an empty road, or hiding in a remote corner. In spite of their efforts to keep their friendship secret, everybody came to know about it. For a boy and a girl to stand in the street and talk to each other, in that part of the world can be understood nothing except love affair. It isn't a common phenomenon. That is the first reason which caused everyone to know and talk about their affair. The second reason is even stronger. For a rich man's son to fall in love with a poor girl isn't welcomed by the society for many reasons. Through many past experiences, it had been proven that such a relationship was always had bad consequences for the girl. The most common of those bad consequences were those cases in which the girl, due to failure in her affair, committed suicide or became pregnant with an illegitimate child and ran away from home and joined bad women in another city and spent the rest of her life as a prostitute. Such sad ending happened often because a rich man's son used a poor girl for his pleasure and sexual satisfaction only. When the question of marriage was raised, he usually withdrew himself and denied the relationship. In rare cases, when the rich man's son took the relationship seriously, then his parents would stand against the match. If they failed to put an end to the relationship, then they would either resort to force or the power of black magic. Most of the people believed that what Intisar is doing will lead to her destruction. Some of them had even come to her mother and told her to stop her daughter from falling into serious problem. Accordingly, the mother tried to stop her daughter, but Intisar didn't listen to her advice. Intisar's friends said she had been deceived by her beauty. She is like a butterfly which jumped into fire thinking that the fire would add to her beauty. Other friends advised her to accept the proposal of Hassan Mahjoub al-Hilali, but she refused to accept such an advice too. While Sammy is waiting to see his father, he remembered all those things which Intisar had told him. Furthermore, he recollected that she had told him in all her life she had never been so criticized by her friends. She felt everybody hated her. She is expecting that the people bitterness might lead them one day to stone her to death. When Intisar came to such a conclusion, Sammy became worried and hence asked her, "What made you to think so?" "I don't know," exactly replied Intisar, "but I can see that everyone hates me. I am very confused, Sammy. I don't want to die and leave you alone." "Don't say so. Let them think or say whatever they like, but one thing you must be very sure about, as long as I am living no one can touch a single hair of your head." "Really, Sammy? Have you forgotten what I have told you when I came from Khartoum?" "Not at all, Sammy. Now tell me what I have said to you that day." "You have said to me, 'No power or authority in this life can separate us from each other.' Why do you then fear the society?" "It means that you don't believe my words." "No, Sammy, how can I, when you have become everything in my life? Even you, Intisar. For your sake I am ready to forsake everything and everybody." When Sammy recollected his conversation with his beloved Intisar, and his thinking soared to extreme heights, he heard suddenly his name being called out by his father's secretary. "Yes, miss," replied Sammy. "Your father is ready to see you. Will you please go inside and stand before the red curtains? When you hear the bell, walk in." Sammy followed the young woman's instructions and stood behind the red curtains waiting for the bell to ring. While he is standing, he saw the red curtains which separated him from his father. After a few seconds he will meet his father and reveal his heart to him. He understood from the phone conversation that his father wanted to talk to him about an important matter. Sammy had guessed that it will be a proposal for marrying a rich man's daughter. Sammy decided to refuse his father's proposal and reveal his own. The father definitely will object, but Sammy is determined to convince him by all his available means. Sammy's thought is disturbed again by the bell ringing. His face became serious. His mind is full of thoughts. His heart is full of love. His innermost being is full of courage. For the time had come for the father to accept his proposal, or the endless war between the son and his father will begin today. With that determination, Sammy walked into the presence of his father. Mr. Osman Al-Taib, though is great in wealth, and had name and fame in the society, but in body stature he is small and thin. If a person viewing him for the first time, he will conclude that he had not the strength even to speak. When he heard him speaking, he will wonder from where he got such a powerful and a commanding voice. His face is always serious and seemed as if it had never experienced laughter since birth. When you looked at his face you won't know whether it is sad or happy or angry. It is such a lifeless face that came into Sammy's view when he first walked in. If somebody will have looked at the two of them, he will never have believed that such a grave and somber face had begotten the angelic and innocent face of Sammy. When the old man saw his son standing before him, he stopped his writing and shouted loudly, "Welcome the great living martyr." Sammy knew at once that the first topic will be about the revolution. "Thank you, father. I am glad to see you after such a long time. Have a seat, my son. I am very proud of you. You know, Sammy, as I have already said, that among all my sons, I love you the most because of your love for education. Now I love you even more because of your courage." "What courage, father?" "Your courageous stand in the revolution, of course. We read about your university in the newspapers, and also Maulana Sheikh Marzouk had mentioned it in his sermons many times." "What had Maulana said about our university?" "He told us how courageously the students had supported them in removing the bad government." "What did he say?" shouted Sammy angrily. "He spoke about the martyrs of your university." "No, father, you have said Maulana had told his congregation in the mosque that the students had supported them in removing the bad government from power." "Yes, you are right, but Maulana meant to say that the religious leaders are the brain which worked behind the curtain." "Imposter!" screamed Sammy angrily. "Sammy!" shouted the father angrily, "have I heard you saying an imposter?" No answer came from Sammy. "How can you dare to call the virtuous Maulana Sheikh Marzouk an imposter?" "I am sorry, father. I know I am not supposed to use such a strong word. But how can Maulana make such a false claim? We are the intellectual Sudanese who planned and fought the revolution with the support of the common people of Sudan who died as martyrs. Where is Maulana's role in the revolution?" The father realized that if such discussion pushed any further, then his proposal will definitely fail. He decided to change the topic. "Okay, let us forget about the revolution and talk about your second greatness. Sammy, have you really become a recognized engineer?" "Yes, father. But, I am indebted to you for that achievement. For due to your constant encouragement and support I am able to become an engineer. You are a great man, Sammy. I am very proud of you." "Thank you, father. A great man like you must have a great woman too. Am I right, my dear son?" "Yes, father. And the great woman must come from a great home, great parents, and great family background. Am I still right, my dear son?" Sammy understood that his father wanted to trap him into admitting that social status determines whether the person is great or not. He said, "You will be absolutely right if you use the word good instead of great." "No, Sammy. The word good became so common in usage until it lost its goodness. Everybody claims to be good and every family claims to have good background. No one can call himself great and having a great family background, except if it is true. For we know for sure who are the great people in this city. Okay, father, what is your definition of a great woman? As I have said, she must be from a great family. For instance, the daughter of Mu'allana Sheikh Marzouk satisfies my definition of a great woman because she has great and noble parents who have pure Arabic blood. Her father is the most righteous man in our city. Her mother traces her root to our blessed Prophet Muhammad, may peace and prayers of Allah be upon him. The girl knows the Holy Quran by heart from cover to cover. She is so holy and righteous and well behaved. She has just completed grade 12 and has passed her exams with high marks. She is the most. Sammy is obliged to interrupt his father's monologue of praise. You have said that you are proud of me because I have graduated as a civil engineer. My personal achievements qualified me to be great in your eyes and not because of my parents. The father realized that his son wanted to trap him by quoting his own words and hence he said, "You have said because of my encouragement and support that you made such great achievement. Because of greatness of your parents, you are what you are. Some of your sons have refused to follow your advice, but became big businessmen. Do you still call them great men because they are your sons? Yes, of course. Some people are great in business, some in religion, some in politics, and some in learning. I am happy that you have included learned people in the list of great people. Now I have 3 friends. One is a medical doctor, another is a lawyer, and yet another is a high school teacher. All of them are graduated from Khartoum University. Do you agree that they are great men of our society? Yes, I do. All of them are from poor families. Will you still agree that they are great men? My dear son, how can we call a poor man's son a great? So, a great man is the person who is learned and from a rich and influential family? These merits combined together make the great man. Do you call Hassan Mahjoub al-Hilali a great man? Yes, I do. His father has become the greatest man in politics. So, for you richness and social status make the man and his children great people. My dear son, the doctors, the engineers, the lawyers, and the teachers are great in their own eyes, but the society never calls them or their children great people. Sammy closed his eyes for a moment and meditated on his father's logic. How many times has he contradicted himself? How often has he refuted his own assertions? It is of no benefit to argue logically with a man of his father's money-minded mentality. Sammy decided to change the topic of greatness and go straight into the main topic. Father, said Sammy, I don't agree with you that wealth and social status will qualify a person to be great, but nevertheless let us go straight into our main topic. The father felt great relief from that hot argument which made him to stand on shifting ground all the time. My dear son, said Mr. Osman al-Tayyib, our gracious Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace of Allah be upon him, has said the woman is to be desired for marriage for 3 reasons, for her wealth, for her beauty, and for her noble family. When these conditions are met in one particular girl, that girl will be the right choice for you. Am I right, my beloved son? Go ahead and tell me what is in your heart, father. A few months ago, your mother and I had decided to find a life partner for you. A girl who must meet the 3 important conditions of the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace of Allah be upon him. We came to know that no girl in the entire city is in such high demand than the daughter of Mu'allana Sheikh Marzouk. The girl's name is Samaya. She is just as her name means, is exalted in beauty, in wealth, in virtue, and in righteousness. Believe me, Sammy, 3 rich families asked for the girl's hand in marriage, but had been rejected by Mu'allana. Of course, he had his own reasons for refusing the proposals, but that is none of our business. What is important for us is that he accepted our proposal. Now, you must tell me why had he rejected the other 3 proposals and accepted yours? The boys are rejected on the basis of their family's background. What is wrong with their family's background? I am not very sure about the exact details, but your mother will be able to tell you that. What I heard is that their family's background are not clean. Please, my dear son, keep this between you and me. Without taking into consideration their characters, education, and other personal achievements, they rejected them, and for what reason? Of course, they accused them of having a third or a fourth or even a 10th grandfather or grandmother who is a slave or a wizard or a witch or even a zombie. What a nonsense! Of course, Mualana is right. How can you expect him to give his daughter to such people? You people are thinking with a Stone Age mentality. Please, Sammy, I have many engagements for the day. Will you tell me when do you want us to go to Mualana? Before we go, I must meet the girl personally and ask her an important question. What is your important question? What is her father's bank balance, and what is my share when I marry her? What nonsense are you talking about? Her father's bank balance is not equal to 1% of your father's bank balance. Have you not quoted the Prophet Muhammad saying that the woman is to be desired for marriage for her wealth, beauty, and noble family? You just want to complicate things and hence delay your marriage. No, I will not withdraw my condition. Listen, Sammy. I am your father and I know among all my sons you are the only one who is not after money. I can't believe that you put money as a condition for choosing your life partner. Now tell me, is there any girl you are having in your mind? Sammy looked at his father with mistrust and said, Yes, father, there is a girl whom I like to marry. What is she? Her name is Intisar Ibrahim Mustafa Gabber. I haven't asked you about her name. I have asked you what is she and what is her father in the society. I have never heard of such a name in my life. Not among the businessmen nor the religious or the political leaders. From where have you picked up that name? Her father, Mr. Ibrahim Mustafa Gabber, the mercy of Allah be upon him, died 10 years ago. He is an ordinary clerk in Al-Gadarif municipality. The only guardians she has are her mother and sister Frida Ibrahim Mustafa Gabber. Frida has graduated from Khartoum University and at present works as a translator in Abu Dhabi, Arabia. Sammy, shouted Mr. Osman Al-Taib, I have given you enough time for the day. I don't mind to talk to you another day about Mualana's daughter. If you want to see her before we go to Mualana, I can arrange that for you. Never ever speak to me about that Intisar again nor about her family. Then, the angry father took his pen and wrote on his pad Intisar Ibrahim Mustafa Gabber and made a circle around her name. Sammy had already stood on his feet. He wanted to say something but hesitated. He looked at his father. Then with stammering words he said, I will speak to you no more about her because I have already spoken. One last thing I want to tell you, no power or authority in the whole world can stop me from marrying her. After that, Sammy walked out of his father's presence to the waiting room and picked up the phone receiver and dialed Intisar's number and spoke to her.